Hey there, all you beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl, D. Shayla, aka Infinity Bay, and I am here with another interesting topic for you all. And as you can see, the video is titled, I Do Not Like Myself. And I want to get into the discussion and the healing through admitting not liking myself. A couple of years back, I was a person who thought I had the life I was supposed to have, and sooner than later, that life was ripped from under me, and I had to begin to find who I truly was and who I truly am and who I wanted to become. However, during this process, I quickly realized that I actually did not like myself. Now, the things that made me realize that I did not like myself was the number one thing was I hated I did not know how to be alone. I always needed company around. I always needed people around me to keep me from going in too deep. I've always been a pretty deep individual, but it's like I always had someone to project on or help fill a certain void for me. I never was truly alone. I As soon as I left my mom's house, I was married very young. I had children very young. So I always was wrapped up in this the identity of a mom and a wife, and always having people around me, always having a lot of friends, always around my family, you know, just that was the lifestyle that I was living. So during this time where my dynamic changed when I separated from my ex-husband, and I began to, we had set, our custody arrangement was got the kids half the time, and then I would have them when I had them. So during this process is when I had to begin to be alone, and I started to feel uncomfortable being alone and not having people around me. And I had to ask myself over time within my healing and stuff like that. And this is, I've talked about this in videos before. This is around the time where I began to get on my spiritual journey, connected with my ancestors and getting into all the things. So one night it came upon me of me feeling uncomfortable and feeling like I needed to fill a void, being around someone, and didn't have really anybody around to fill that void. I then, it came over me that I didn't like myself. I didn't like the person that I was. I didn't like the choices that I had made that got me to that place where I was at. So at that point, I knew it was time for a change, for me to get to the root of why I did not like myself, to for me to acknowledge, why I felt this way or how I came to these terms. And the biggest thing for me was when I would go deep, I felt icky. When I would connect to myself, I didn't like it. I felt uncomfortable. I wasn't happy truly with how I was feeling in my inside. So that is what prompts me to admit I did not like myself. And that is what prompts me to begin to start really liking myself, really loving myself. And that is why I made this video, because I know there are other people out here who probably don't understand why they can't sit with themselves, don't understand why they are truly not happy within their life. They can have many successes, many things, but they just feel something that's incomplete within them. So I wanted to make this video of just empowering people to see the power in admitting you don't like your damn self. And that's okay. As long as you are willing to make the changes to begin to really like yourself and love yourself, you'll be fine. So, one of the things I do remember, because a lot of my awakening happened during my divorce, because that was my whole identity, being a wife and a mom and stuff like that. And I've talked about that before. So during this time, I it was very chaotic. I was doing things in a chaotic way. I was very doing things that, I always had like this controlling thing about me because of other past traumas that we can get into another video. But I remember being on the phone with my sister one day, and I was just telling her, like, I want peace. I just want peace. I don't feel any peace. And she said to me, well, you got to get that to yourself. And that was just like, so you would think it was such a thing like, duh, give yourself your peace. But a lot of times we aren't taught that. A lot of times we look at for peace outside of ourselves. And so it can seem like it's something so hard to obtain, right? And that's the same thing with beginning to love and like yourself. You don't need outside validation to love and like yourself. No matter how much things people say about you, great things, beautiful things, if you don't mush with yourself, it's not going to matter at the end of the day. And that's something I had to learn. I was putting up this facade like I was such a good person and I was such an understanding person, a loving person. Although I wasn't the worst person, how could that really be true when I wasn't really like that to myself? You aren't certain ways to people you do not really like that. I did not know how to put myself first. I didn't think I was worthy of putting myself first. I did things for other people. I was standing for other people. I liked other people. So I did the things for them, but I wasn't doing the things for myself, if that makes sense. And to be honest with you, as I'm really thinking about it and I'm speaking for the woman that I am now, I don't really think I liked other people like that. Like, to be honest with you, I think I was just so afraid of being alone that I dealt with certain things, that I accepted certain things. I don't think I really liked people like that because a lot of the people that I was meshing with back then, I don't mesh with right now. I look and I say, like, well, how were you allowing yourself to be in these friendships and relationships for so long? But that's who it was solely based off the woman, the young lady I was back then, and not the woman that I am now. I wouldn't accept a lot of things that I accepted then. I accept now. I accept now. Absolutely not. But all of this comes from me admitting that I did not like myself. I did not like myself, and that seems so crazy to be saying and so weird, maybe to admit that you don't like yourself. But it was so healing for me. And it was like I remember having a conversation with my sister again and just talking about like how it was something that came up that I would never forget this, and it was around the thing of I want to fuck with myself more than I fuck with anybody else around me, and that always stuck to me, and that was like my force that I have to fuck with myself more than I fuck with any of y'all. And that was a changing and turning point for me when I began to do that. And I wanted to be able to sit with myself and see the things that I wanted to change and be okay with those things. I wanted to be able to sit with myself and be able to accept where I was and understand that I do have somewhere to go. I wanted to be able to sit with myself and just be at peace and be happy. And where I'm at now, I probably do that too damn much. Sitting with myself, reflecting, and really giving myself that space to grow. I thought I was the person back then. I thought I was a great friend. I'm a mom. I'm all of this and that. I was where everybody else needed me to be, you know? So from that moment when I admitted that I didn't, I remember like it was yesterday, I was taking me a bath, a spiritual bath, and it just came upon me, girl, you don't like yourself. You don't even want to sit in this bath for too long and really reflect on yourself. So I'm like, let's change that. Let's change not liking myself, you know? So say if you are an individual who's watching this and you a person who come to terms that you really don't, mess with yourself like that. You really want to begin to like and love yourself a lot more. Where do you start with that? First things first is admitting that. And don't admit it in a way to shame yourself. It's like you almost gotta be like, girl, I really don't like the way you do things sometimes. And be, okay with that. So then what does it look like for you to do things in a way that you like it, that shows that you fuck with yourself, that you like yourself, because it's like having somebody, like, say if you got a friend that you really mesh with, and you got her back, blah 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 blah. You're not gonna let certain people cross her a certain way. You're gonna be protective over that person. You're gonna be protected over that sister, that mom, that brother, that kid, your child. That's the same way you need to start being about yourself. You know. So, what are ways that you can do certain things that you will be proud of, and you be like, yeah, that's how I handle X, Y, and Z. What are some ways that you can sit with yourself and not punish yourself and let your mind race, but enjoy your own company? You know, you have permission to enjoy yourself. You have permission to enjoy your own company. That's okay to do. That is okay to do. You have permission to do that. So, what are things you can do during that time? Rather than thinking of ways to upgrade your life, thinking of ways to connect spiritually, thinking of ways to, take yourself out, thinking of ways, just doing the things that you really want to do. I think a lot of the times is that we want to do certain things in our life, we want to accomplish certain things, but we are too afraid, and we think that we are making the wrong decisions by doing the things a certain way, in a way that you would like to. But learning to like yourself and sit with yourself is one of the number one ways as well to connect to your intuition. And your intuition is going to always lead you to where you need to go, you know? So just begin to slowly sit with yourself. Whether if it's 15 minutes, sit with yourself, connect with her. What does she really want? What would she do? How would she handle certain situations? And take your time getting there. Don't white knuckle it and just be trying to get your way, through it in a quick results and quick in a hurry. It's going to backfire on you. Begin to slowly see how you want your life to be, so that you can start making the strides and the steps to get there. And honestly, the biggest thing that's going to make you begin to really like yourself with yourself is if you start taking accountability over your life and your decisions that you made. Once you begin to do that, you have a lot more control over your life. You have a lot more control over the situations that you allow or that you are in your life. You got to take accountability. You can no longer have those scapegoats or people around you that you can project on. You can no longer be trying to earn love out here. Trust me. I sometimes honestly still struggle with that, with earning love and stuff like that. That's one of the biggest no nos in beginning to like yourself and love yourself, is that you cannot think that you have to earn love from people, that you are only valuable of love if you're within service to someone or being needed and stuff like that. We're going to begin to heal that and work on that, but you want to just take accountability over your life. Accountability has gotten me so far. Be even saying, holding myself accountable to say why I don't like certain things I did or do, and why I probably don't like myself. That was holding myself accountable for me to have a better life. But what I will say to wrap up this video is that me admitting I do not like myself, I did not like the girl I was from 2019 and before that, changed my life. I still remember this day when I came to that epiphany and that acceptance. And that's another thing, accepting yourself. Accepting yourself, accepting yourself, accepting yourself. You got to do this all for yourself so that you can get in a better place. And once you begin to really like yourself and then love yourself and really fuck with yourself, you just watch how your life turn around for you. Watch what you accept. Watch what you will allow. Look at the ways that you're going to push yourself forward, and you're going to believe that anything you want is yours, because you're going to understand and have the connection that you are deserving of all of your desires. So I just wanted to share that with you guys about the times where I felt as if I did not like my damn self. And that's just what it was. And I accepted that. I healed from that, and I've grown from that, and I've seen great results from that. My life has been not easy, but that was the roadmap for me to start taking accountability and having that tunnel vision of where I was going, because it helped me understand who I was becoming, or who was that woman that I really did like. What did she look like? Who was she? How did she move? How did she show up for herself? So yeah, that is my story of me not liking myself, and why it was important for me to begin to like myself. And yeah, so I hope this got to who it needed to get to. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.